Level 1, the General Assistant. You are 23 years old. You stand in a warehouse in Christchurch, New Zealand. A staffer hands you 5 layers of extreme cold weather gear. Bunny boots. Wind pants. The red parka every station calls Big Red. You sign for all of it. You fail the first fit check. The hood won't clear your ski goggles. You swap sizes twice. You board an LC-130 Hercules, skis bolted to its landing gear. For turboprops. 8 hours south. A pallet of mailbags for a seat. You land on Williams Field, a compacted snow runway on the Ross Ice Shelf. -22 Fahrenheit. Your eyelashes freeze shut within a minute on the ramp. McMurdo Station holds 1,200 people this month. Close to 100 buildings on Ross Island. You're assigned to the General Assistant Pool, the GAs. The fill-in-everywhere labor. You sort waste by category. Treaty rules ship every scrap off the continent. Nothing stays behind. You spool fuel line across gravel roads. You stack cargo pallets by an idling forklift. You scrub grease off a generator shed floor with a wire brush. You mishandle a radio call on your first solo cargo run. Wrong frequency. Wrong call sign. Your supervisor makes you repeat the protocol 4 times before your shift ends. A safety briefing sends you onto the sea ice for the first time. An officer marks the route with black bamboo flags. Step off the flags, he says, and the ice below could be 4 inches thick. Or 40 feet. At the galley, a 9-season GA holds up his right hand. 3 fingertips and at the first knuckle. 40 seconds without a glove, he says, patching a fuel line at -40. Skin blisters in under 60 seconds at that wind chill. The station doctor has a name for what's left. Frostbite gone to necrosis. Your first paycheck clears. 11 hours of daylight in October. It will shrink towards 6 months of none by winter. A notice goes up outside the galley. Field guide selection opens for next season. 11 days to apply. Level 2, the field assistant. You are 25 years old. Snow school comes first. 2 nights on the ice shelf. No station. No radio relay. Just you. Just an instructor. You cut snow blocks with a saw. You stack them into a wall against the wind. You dig a trench 2 meters down. You roof it with a slab of hard snow. You crawl inside and wait out the night. -30 outside. Your sleeping bag rated to -40. Crevasse rescue training follows. You learn the prusik knot. A friction hitch. It grips a rope under load, slides free on command. You learn the Z-pulley system next. 3 ropes. 2 pulleys. Enough force to haul a person out of a crevasse using your own body weight. You learn to probe a snowfield with an avalanche pole, feeling for the hollow give of a hidden crack below. You learn to hold a compass bearing blind, when every direction looks the same flat white. Your first deep field posting comes through. 2 glaciologists. 3 weeks. 0 resupply. You lead the rope. You check in by radio at 0800. Again at 2000. Missed 2 calls running, and McMurdo launches a search for you. A whiteout drops on day 4. No horizon. No shadow. You misjudge the bearing back to camp by 40 degrees. You backtrack an extra 90 minutes to correct it. On the rope with a trainee partner, the snow bridge under him gives way. He drops to his chest, held only by the rope. You dig your heels in. You brace the line. You hold his full weight for 4 minutes before the second rope comes tight. The team hauls him out. His shoulder is dislocated. A flight out within the week ends his season for good. Your logbook entry on the rescue gets read aloud at the next safety briefing. The lead guides start using your first name instead of new guy. The roster for next season's field guides goes up on the notice board. Your name is the last one added. It's the slot your partner would have filled. Level 3, the field guide. You are 28 years old. Full field guide now. You lead your own team. 5 glaciologists. 300 kilometers from station. Ice core drills strapped to 2 sledges. At night in the station library, you find a copy of Home of the Blizzard, Mawson's own 1915 account of the Far Eastern Party. December 1912. Ninnis breaks through a snow-covered crevasse. Sledge gone. 6 dogs gone with him. Mawson and Mertz eat the surviving dogs to survive. Husky liver carries a toxic dose of vitamin A. Mertz dies January 8, 1913. Mawson drags his own sledge alone for the next month to reach base. The last flight of the season leaves before the sea ice runway turns unsafe. Station population drops from over 1,000 to under 200 within a week. Winter over begins. 6 months of near-total dark start. Mean temperature holds near -51 Celsius. No ships. No flights. No mail in or out until spring. Winter over syndrome sets in on schedule. You wake at 4 a.m. for no reason. You snap at a roommate over a dish left in the sink. Your sleep stops holding past 5 hours a night. Your stomach turns on itself for no reason at all. The station doctor's charts call it stress-linked IBS. One of the syndrome's oldest recorded symptoms. One of the support staff gets worse than the rest. He stops eating with the group in the galley. He accuses a colleague of moving his things. He starts sleeping with a multi-tool under his pillow. By week 6 of full dark, the winter over crew votes on it themselves. No outside authority answers the satellite line at this point. You lock the station armory. You confine him to his room. To the galley. Nothing else. Until sunrise. In the middle of managing it, you miss a scheduled generator check. The backup unit fails to start on the first pull 3 days later. It costs the crew 4 hours without full power in -50 air. The sun clears the horizon in late August for the first time in months. The whole crew stands outside in parkas just to watch it. The first flight of spring lands with a new roster. It carries a formal offer too. Lead Field Guide, next season. Level 4, the lead field guide. You are 32 years old. You train the next class of guides now. You run them through the same crevasse drills that once cost your old rope partner his shoulder and his season. You check every trainee's Prussic knot yourself before you trust it with a life. You add a new drill this year, the picket anchor. An aluminum stake, driven flat into the snow. Load spread along its length to hold a fall. Station radio routes through you first now, before it ever reaches the station leader. A resupply traverse launches this season. Tracked vehicles hauling fuel bladders across roughly 1,360 kilometers of plateau. Nearly the same distance Scott's men once tried to cover on foot, on skis, hauling their own sledges. You coordinate 3 field parties along the route by satellite phone. You cross-check GPS waypoints twice a day. A visiting scientist ignores your wide-out brief. He steps out of the Scott 10 alone. Says he's only checking an instrument 200 meters out. He misses the next radio check. You launch a search in wind chill near -60 Celsius. Visibility under 10 meters. You rope up with 2 other guides. You run an expanding square pattern on skis, because no twin otter flies blind in this. You find him 11 hours later, folded against a sastrugi ridge, still breathing. Both feet frozen solid inside his boots. You radio the surgeon at McMurdo. You describe skin gone black and waxy across both sets of toes. The answer comes back flat. Amputate on-site, under station lighting, with what's already in the medical kit. No evacuation flight for 6 days. The weather won't clear. A board of inquiry opens within the month. Your field logs. Your radio timestamps. Your exact wording in every call. All of it now decides whether the scientist's research program gets shut down, and whether you keep your own guiding certification at all. Level 5, the field operations leader. You are 37 years old. The inquiry clears you within 8 weeks. The scientist keeps both legs below the knee. His research program gets suspended 1 season, not shut down for good. You run field logistics for the whole station now. You manage 4 deep field camps living simultaneously this season. You plan the fuel caches. You plan the food caches. You decide who flies where and when. A katabatic wind rolls off the polar plateau 1 week into the season. The same downslope wind that clocks gusts over 100 miles an hour at Mawson Station on the coast. It flattens 2 tents at Camp Bravo. It buries a third under a full meter of drift overnight. You lose feeling in 2 fingers securing a guy line in the whiteout that follows. The feeling never fully comes back. Only 1 aircraft sits on the ice this week. You reroute it mid-storm toward the camp reporting an injury, over the camp radioing in low on fuel. You know the number cold by now. At -100 Fahrenheit wind chill, the mark veterans call the 300 club threshold, exposed skin can freeze solid in under 30 seconds. You sign off on a glaciologist's request to push her ice core window 4 days past the safe return date. The data matters enough. The forecast holds, barely. The low-fuel camp runs on half rations for 9 extra days while the aircraft handles the injury first. Cold kills faster than hunger. That's the math you build the call on, alone, at a desk. One member of that camp doesn't speak to you again for the rest of the season. The station leader announces retirement at the season debrief. The search for a new deputy station leader opens the same week. Level 6, the deputy station leader. You are 43 years old. Second winter over. This time as leadership. Every safety call carries your signature now. Every death report, if one is ever written, would carry it too. The crew drops to skeleton size again. Near 50 people, the same range Amundsen's God holds through its own dark season. You run the fire drills yourself. You know they matter more here than almost anywhere on Earth. The truck itself might not turn over at -50. A new crack opens in the ice shelf near the station's satellite dome. The same kind of glaciological event that forced Halley 6 to evacuate for a full winter in the British program. You start a monitoring rotation. You drill GPS stakes into the shelf. You check them weekly against last year's baseline. A second isolated crisis hits midwinter. This time it's a department head, not a support worker. He stops filing his weekly reports. He accuses the station's own systems of tracking him specifically. You coordinate with headquarters through a satellite link that goes dark for hours at a time, whenever the bird dips below the pole's horizon. One of the last blind spots left in global communications. You overrule the station doctor's call to wait for a clearer diagnosis. You confine the department head to medical for the final 6 weeks of winter, off every other duty. Waiting risks the other 49 people on station with you. He doesn't speak to you again after the ice breaks up that spring. You rewrite the medical evacuation protocol before the season ends, built entirely from what went wrong this time. A selection panel for the next station leader posting meets in 6 months. Your name sits on the shortlist headquarters sends out. Level 7, the station leader. You are 50 years old. You run the whole station now. 1,200 people in summer. A little over 150 through the dark months. One radio call to Christchurch or Cambridge in an emergency. Otherwise, every decision is yours alone. You sign off on every flight manifest, every fuel delivery, every construction project that goes up this season. The crack you first flagged as deputy station leader has grown across 4 winters of GPS monitoring. The glaciologists recalculate this year. Not years left before it reaches the satellite dome's foundation. Months. You order an early evacuation of every non-essential worker before the last flight window closes. Winter crew drops below its usual floor. A bare skeleton, thinner than any season on your watch. Deep in the dark months, a short circuit sparks in the main power module. Every polar worker studies this precedent in training. Vostok Station, April 1982. A diesel generator fire, dead of winter. 15 minutes. All 3 engines destroyed. The chief mechanic dead trying to save them. 20 men left with 1 salvaged backup engine for the next 8 months. A tractor finally reaches them from the coast after 227 days. Your own fire spreads fast through pipes and wiring never built to be repaired quickly in the dark. Water lines nearby have already frozen solid, so a hand pump extinguisher and dry chemical are the only tools that still work. Smoke fills the corridor before the flames are out. Temperature inside the module climbs past what a body can survive unprotected. 2 server rooms sit locked at the end of that corridor. 15 seconds of clean air left, maybe enough for one. One room holds decades of climate data. The reason half the scientists on this ice have a career at all. The other holds the medical archive. Every case file. Every winter over psych record. Everything that could stop the next crisis from repeating this one. You choose the medical archive. You carry it out through smoke that's already turned your throat raw. The climate data burns with the rest of the module. The backup generator coughs to life 2 hours later. No one dies. The report takes 4 months to write. 2 months after it's filed, headquarters calls with an offer. Leave the ice for good. Run the whole program from a desk instead. Level 8, the Polar Operations Director. You are 58 years old. You leave the ice for the first time in 31 years. You sign budgets now instead of ration lists. The coldest thing in your building is the coffee. You approve field programs from spreadsheets instead of weather reports. You cut a line item on rescue equipment across the whole program this year. 6%. Buried in a 100-page budget. The kind of number that looks harmless from a desk in July. 2 seasons later, a field guide dies in a crevasse fall 300 kilometers from the nearest station. You read the incident report before the family does. You sit across a table from that family. You answer for a decision made in a conference room with the heat running. Not a decision made in a storm. Your own marriage ends quietly that same year. 3 decades of 8-month absences, and neither of you notices the exact week it becomes permanent. You mentor this year's station leader candidates. 6 of them, all under 35, all certain they're ready. You recognize yourself in every one of them. The same certainty you carried at 32. Reviewing the fatality file line by line, you find it. The exact piece of rescue gear missing from that guide's kit is the exact line item your budget cut removed 2 years earlier. You sign the funding back in that afternoon. You tell no one why. Retirement paperwork sits on your desk from spring through the following winter. You don't sign it. Level 9, the old hand. You are 74 years old. You fly south one more time. Not as staff. As a guest, invited back for the anniversary of the first hut going up on this ice. The youngest person on the flight wasn't born for half your career. You walk corridors rebuilt twice since the season you arrived as a general assistant. Most of the names on the memorial wall mean nothing to the current crew. One of them means everything to you. Station assigns a general assistant to show you around. 23 years old. The exact age you were on your first flight out of Christchurch. You watch him flinch at his first real gust off the plateau. The same flinch that cost you a night's sleep 51 years ago. You say nothing. You let him have it the way you had to have it. You find your own name still on a plaque by the old crevasse rescue ground. The citation from the rescue at 25. The one that got you onto the field guide roster in the first place. That night, alone, you stand outside the main module and look out at ice that won't go fully dark for another 2 months. You don't mention the 2 fingers that never fully came back after the storm at 37. You don't mention the marriage. You don't mention the name on the memorial wall from the season you signed the budget that couldn't buy back what it cost. The one you still read every time you pass. At dawn, you watch the new general assistant walk out onto the ice for his first work detail. Same nervous stride. Same oversized parka, not yet broken in. The cycle continues.